Coming up today, President Park Geun-hye says Korea's future relies on its innovation of new technologies as the government unveils its 9-point plan to guide the nation through the fourth industrial revolution. Team Korea adds a fourth gold to its medal tally on day 5 of the Rio Olympics as marksman Jin Jong-oh wins the men's 50-meter pistol event. Plus, the Korean won strengthens strongly against the greenback. The local currency closes below 1,100 won to the dollar for the first time in almost 14 months. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Thursday, August 11th here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this morning, the government has unveiled 9 science and technology projects it will support as future growth engines, with the Pokemon Go craze highlighting the potential of augmented reality, just as AlphaGo did for the artificial intelligence sector. President Park Geun-hye says new technologies will drive the momentum for Korea's future economic growth. Song Ji-sun starts us off.
At the second meeting for science and technology strategies on Wednesday, the government identified 9 sectors it will foster on a national level for future growth, including artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and biopharmaceuticals. President Park said that in times of low growth and with the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, Seoul must take the early lead in emerging industries on the global stage.
저는 지금 우리가 당면하고 있는 위기의 해법도 결국은 과학기술에서 찾아야 한다고 생각합니다. 과학기술로부터 이 위기를 극복할 새로운 동력을 얻고 우리 경제의 재도약을 위한 모멘텀을 만들어야 하겠습니다.
The meeting was launched and chaired by the president herself in order to better administer the nation's science and technology sectors. At the first gathering in May, officials laid out plans to revamp Seoul's R&D structure through deregulation. The 9 national projects selected Wednesday will each be led by one team, with cross-ministerial support for greater innovation and efficiency.
각 부처는 지원은 하되 간섭은 하지 않는다는 원칙을 세우고 R&D 사업의 새로운 협업 모델을 만들어야 할 것입니다.
President Park stressed the projects must be developed on a national level and in a preemptive manner with cooperation from both the private and public sectors to keep pace with the fast-evolving future. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
So, as we just heard, the government has laid out its 9-point plan to ensure the nation stays ahead of the curve in our rapidly changing world. For a more in-depth look at the projects that give us a sneak peek into what Korea could look like in the next 10 to 15 years, Kim Jeon reports.
The Ministry of Science, ICT and Future Planning has unveiled 9 strategically important projects to raise Korea's competitiveness in the so-called Fourth Industrial Revolution. In the artificial intelligence sector, the ministry plans to support the collaboration of state and private entities for the creation of an AI product and services platform. In the process, it plans to increase the number of software engineers to more than 6,700 by 2019. In the virtual or augmented reality sector, the ministry has unveiled a flagship or 3D platform and content project for the development of higher resolution VR device screens, as well as face and gesture recognition programs for interactive devices. It hopes to reduce Korea's technological gap with the U.S. in the sector from 1.8 years to less than 6 months by 2020. The ministry will carry out policies for the commercialization of autonomous cars by creating a regulation-free zone by 2020 for on-road testing in the southeastern city of Daegu. The ministry also plans to knock up to 40% off manufacturing costs by supporting the production of lighter metal-based materials. It will converge state infrastructure projects in the water, energy, and transportation sectors for the advancement of smart cities and microgrid management run on big data technology. The ministry also plans to make it possible to utilize big data to promote medical services to prevent chronic diseases and increase the chance of survival among cancer patients. The ministry says it will increase its financial support on a case-by-case basis for the development of new biomedicines and increase competitiveness in the biosector. In order to carry out Korea's goal to reduce carbon emissions by 37% by 2030, the ministry plans to aid tech development in the production of methanol, which results from the separation of carbon monoxide from CO2. Last but not least, the ministry is to aid tech development that will help alleviate the chronic issue of ultra-fine dust and create a database to improve air quality forecasts. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, the Korean won closed trading at a 14-month high on Wednesday as a sagging US dollar and strengthening markets on Wall Street boosted global risk demand. But a strong local currency could be bad news for Korea's exporters, as our Barry Welsh reports.
1,095.4. That's how the Korean won closed on Wednesday's session against the US dollar, below the 1,100 mark, the highest against the greenback since May 2015. This comes as the local won extended gains after Standard & Poor's upgraded Korea's sovereign credit rating to a record high of AA on Monday, leading to a growing appetite for Korean shares and an inflow of foreign capital. The weakening of the dollar is another reason.
The value of the dollar fell over the last couple of months, with global markets assuming that the U.S. won't hike rates by September this year based on poor economic indicators.
The Korean won has now become the second best performing Asian currency in emerging markets so far this year after Malaysia's ringgit. But this could be bad news for Korean exporters, who have been posting negative growth for more than 19 consecutive months. And a stronger won can only fuel concerns of losing global competitiveness.
Korean manufacturers of semiconductors and steel pay with dollars. If the won continues to strengthen, profits are only bound to drop.
The 1,100 mark is widely considered a psychologically important barrier, and analysts expect the continuous strengthening of the won could soon trigger intervention from foreign exchange authorities. Barry Welsh, Arirang News.
The US State Department says religious freedom continues to be non-existent in North Korea. In its latest International Religious Freedom Report released Wednesday, the State Department estimates there are up to 120,000 political prisoners in North Korea, some of whom are imprisoned for religious reasons. It also says ownership of Bibles or other religious materials brought in from abroad is illegal and punishable by imprisonment and even execution. The US has designated North Korea as a country of particular concern since 2001 for its severe violations of religious freedom. On South Korea, the report said around 600 people are serving jail time for refusing to do mandatory military service, the majority of whom refused on religious grounds. Well, it's that time in the morning where we catch up on the latest action from the 2016 Rio Olympics, and Team Korea secured its fourth gold of the Games on day 5, with veteran shooter Jin Jong-oh claiming victory in the men's 50-meter pistol event. Scoring 193.7 in the final, Jin set a new Olympic record in the process. The 36-year-old is also the first marksman to ever win 3 straight gold medals in men's or women's shooting. The silver went to Vietnam's Hoang Xuan, who led the entire final match until the last 2 shots. Also on the podium was North Korea's Kim Song-guk. North Korea now has 2 silvers and 1 bronze at the Rio Olympics. South Korea won its second medal in men's judo on day 5 as well. World number 1, Gwak Dong-han, won bronze in the 90-kilogram class. Taking on Marcus Nyman from Sweden, ranked 4th in the world, Gwak claimed victory through a swift ippon. The 24-year-old was one of Korea's gold medal hopefuls, despite this being his first Olympics. Earlier in the semi-final match, Gwak was defeated by an opponent from Georgia. And more exciting news for Team Korea, this time on the football pitch. South Korea has just defeated Mexico 1-0 in their final group stage match, securing their passage into the knockout stages. Korea scored the game's only goal in the second half of the game. From the same group, Germany also advanced after they thrashed Fiji 10-0. South Korea's next game is against Honduras on Saturday evening local time. For fans, that's 7 a.m. on Sunday Korea time. And veteran American cyclist Christine Armstrong claimed her third consecutive road time trial gold on a rain-soaked course on Wednesday. Armstrong powered through the almost 30-kilometre course in a time of 44 minutes, 26.42 seconds. And what's especially notable is that she retired after her gold at the 2008 Beijing Olympics to start a family. But at the London Olympics in 2012, she made a comeback for another gold. And after that, she called it quits to undergo 3 hip surgeries, but made yet another comeback last year to prove yet again her golden caliber. With that, let's take a look at the current medal standings and the upcoming events. Now, in other news, Google has asked the Korean government for a second time to allow it to export the nation's map data outside of the country. However, the government seems reluctant to do so, cancelling a planned meeting that was set up for Friday. For more on why, Oh Jung-hee reports.
Google has been experiencing difficulties in providing services like public transportation routes, real-time traffic updates, and three-dimensional images in Korea. While these services are possible with map data exported from each country, the Korean government declined to give out such information to Google in 2007. But on June 1st, Google submitted an official request to the Korean government, and to explore potential benefits or aftermaths of granting such requests, experts from Korea's IT, tourism, spatial information industries, as well as a representative from Google recently held a policy discussion. During the past 9 years, Korean authorities have insisted that Google should refrain from featuring images of key sensitive facilities, such as the presidential office and military units. However, Google said that the map it is asking for does not compromise Korea's national security, as it is a processed version already widely used by local IT companies in the country.
We've requested the map that passed Korea's Spatial Information Association's screening. The map does not show any of Korea's sensitive facilities.
Google also emphasized that millions of websites and mobile apps around the world are striving thanks to Google's globally used map platform.
We decided to request Korea's map data because we want to offer more services to Korean users. Local businesses and startups will be able to create new services and even penetrate new markets through Google Map.
Korea's map data is based on one of the most advanced technologies in the world, with a scale ratio of 1:1,000. Korea's Spatial Information Association says that most countries' basic digital maps have scales of 1:25,000 or 1:50,000, and only a few developed countries own 1:5,000 or 1:1,000 ratios.
Precise surveying techniques and aerial photographs are used to create not only a three-dimensional map, but also digital and indoor layers of the map. Map data becomes the main platform for self-driving cars or drones, Internet of Things, and virtual or augmented reality.
This was one of the main reasons Korean panelists fired out on Monday that Korea's map data cannot be handed out. If the world's IT giant obtains Korea's high-tech map data, free and fair competition would not be possible under Google's virtual monopoly of digital maps.
If our map data is handed over to Google, Korea's industries will become subordinate to it. Look at Uber. It decided to invest $500 million to develop its own map to be independent from Google.
The Korean government will make its final decision on August 25th through discussions among related ministries, including land, science, and defense. Oh Jung-hee, Arirang News.
Now, scores of people are looking to push their physical and mental capabilities to the limit, and they're taking part in a 4-day Special Forces training camp. It turns out many were inspired to sign up after watching a popular Korean TV drama series. Kim Mok-yeon has a story.
A total of 187 people are participating in this year's Special Forces training camp, and organizers reveal the types of activities and challenges participants have been experiencing. Participants in the 4-day training camp are set to experience the same type of instruction as actual soldiers, ranging from guerrilla training, rappel training, parachute training, and jumping from marked towers. The widespread popularity of the Hallyu drama Descendants of the Sun has inspired many female participants to take part in the training.
I became more interested in this area after watching the drama Descendants of the Sun. I decided to join the training because I thought it would be a good experience for me and my colleagues.
Participants who jumped off the 11.5-meter-high Mark Tower, which is known to be the height at which people feel the most fear, said that they were happy to overcome their limitations.
I've always dreamt of being a Special Forces officer. Through this, I was able to overcome my fear, and I think I got a step closer to achieving my dream.
The Special Forces training camp, which marks its 14th anniversary this year, is being held around 5 areas nationwide, including the capital Seoul, Incheon, and Chungcheongbuk-do. Kim Mok-yeon, Arirang News.
Well, that's all we have for now. I'm Mark Broom. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.